Welcome into the Farzy Show, everyone. A very special edition presented by Destination Retirement, destinationretirement.com from the Steven Singer Studios. This man needs no introduction at this point, so I'll just say it simply. On the Rothman Orthopaedics guest line, our good friend Ray Didinger joins the show. Ray, how are you? How are you taking in this week, my friend?
It's interesting that we have a whole retirement theme working here, don't we?
Yes, sir. It absolutely is. But I was telling you right before I hit play, more or less, on this old interview here. I was telling my audience earlier this morning that when I saw your announcement with Glenn, obviously, a smile came over my face. Selfishly, I was sad because we need you breaking down the Eagles all the time, obviously. But I was so happy for you because there's been nobody more dedicated to his craft and his family than you. And when you talked about going to your granddaughter's games and going to games as a fan, I thought to myself, after 53 years, nobody deserves it more than Ray Didinger. How did you come to this decision? How long did you really mull it over? And why now, essentially?
It's been about a year that I've been thinking about it. The thought occurred to me last year. I just kind of felt myself slowing down, and it's just a function of being old, being 75. And a little bit the feeling that the games have changed and the business has changed, and things have changed around me, and I haven't changed very much. And there's a feeling of being left behind a little bit, and I didn't like that, and I didn't want to be all the games, baseball, football, basketball. They're all being driven by other forces now. The analytics is so big now. Something I can't really relate to, but I understand that's where we are. And for me to kind of just be the guy that's always standing there saying, I remember in my day, I didn't want to be that guy. So I thought, we're kind of at that point now. It'd probably be better for me to just say, okay, I'm going to step aside, go on, enjoy, have a great time. But it's probably time for me to go take a seat in the gallery.
You mentioned sitting in the stands, like as a fan. Is that the plan? Are you going to go to games as a fan now? What is the plan here going forward?
Well, we're going to start with me throwing out the first pitch at the Phillies game next weekend.
Okay. Right. Former professional softball player, Ray Didinger, third baseman. Is the arm in good shape?
No. No. But they did. They asked me to throw out the first pitch at the game a week from Sunday when the Angels are in town. I originally said no thanks. Hey, that's very nice of you. I appreciate it. Nice thought, but no, I'll pass. Because I always thought, I kind of always thought the first pitch thing always looked kind of dorky to me. So I just kind of said, nah. But unfortunately, my granddaughter heard about it. And my granddaughter said, oh, Pop, you have to do this. So more than anything else, I'm kind of doing it for her. I just hope that I don't, too hop it to the plate. I mean, that would be a heck of a way to leave the stage.
Just gun it, man. To give it all you got. Just warm up a little bit, go out there and gun it. So I don't know how else to ask this question other than like the plan now. Are you going full Johnny Carson? Like we're not going to see you except for like paparazzi shots of you playing tennis in little white shorts. Like what are we going to see of Ray Didinger going forward?
Probably nothing. Probably nothing. I've already had, and the folks at IP have been great about it, as have the folks at NBC. And they both said, hey, listen, if you want to come in and do some stuff, check in from time to time. And I kind of don't think so. I mean, Marc, I had 53 years doing it. It's a long time. It's a long time for people to have to live with my voice and my opinions. I think it might be time to give everybody a break. I always kind of admired the way certain people were able to just kind of leave it behind. John, you mentioned Johnny Carson as a classic example. I mean, Carson did his last Tonight Show, said goodbye, and that was it. I mean, you never saw him again. Ted Koppel kind of did the same thing when they closed down, when he left Nightline. Not not that I'm putting myself in the class of those guys, but I think there's something to be said for, when you take your leave to leave. And I feel really good, really good about my career. I feel really good about the writing part of it. I feel really good about the TV and radio stuff that I've gotten to do that I never expected that I'd get to do, but I've gotten to do it, and I really enjoyed that. And the 13 years I spent at NFL Films working with Steve Sable was a tremendous, it was really a tremendous sort of middle chapter of my life. I feel really fortunate that I've been able to do what I've done, and I've enjoyed it thoroughly. But I kind of think, enough is enough. And so this weekend I finish up. I got 2 shows with Glenn left. I got Saturday and Sunday, and then when that's over, I think it's over.
Mm-hmm. Of all the stupid football bets you and Glenn Macnow had, does one jump to mind as the stupidest?
Oh, yeah. Well, I won it, so it's sort of my favorite. But it was the Savraca bet. That was sort of my favorite. Was the Glenn got so caught up in the romance of this Australian punter with the big leg that he just lost his mind for a while. And when it came time to make the football bet, I said, "Well, Glenn, Glenn he nicknamed him the Kangaroo Kid and all that stuff." I said, "It's okay. I mean, you're really into this Savraca thing. Why don't we just build our stupid football bet around Savraca?" And he said, "Great. Okay, terrific. Okay, here's the bet. 60-yard punts this season for Savraca." So okay. And I let him set the number. And he said 12. And I knew there had never been more than 5 in any one season in the NFL. So I didn't want to jump at it too quickly to make him suspicious. So I said, let me think about that. And I know it's a stone cold winner. I know it, but I don't want to let on. 12. I don't know. Yeah. All right. You talk me into it. So, of course, he finished the season with a grand total of 1. So that was the one. And just I think my favorite moment of that bet was one day at the lake. Sav really got into one and really nailed it. And it gets fair caught, and the press box announcer, who, by this time everybody was aware of the bet. The press box announcer announces, and that Savraca punt, 59.5 yards. And Glenn turned around and said, you have to give me that one. You have to give me that one. I said, 59.5 is not 60.
That's the under. That's the under.
Yep.
Ray Didinger, you sly dog, you sly dog. When it comes to thinking back to the 1960 championship and then the Super Bowl, in those years in between, those many years in between, is there a play? Is there a player? Is there a coach? Is there a moment that really sticks out to you as the most special moment between those two when it comes to those teams between the championships?
Miracle at the Meadowlands, the original Miracle at the Meadowlands. That would be it. 78 up at the Meadowlands. The game essentially over. Giants just running out the clock, and Pizarczyk, fumbles the handoff to Larry Zonka, takes one hop into the hands of Herman Edwards, who runs literally right into my arms. I mean, I was standing behind the end zone because, all the sports writers went, with 2 minutes to go, we leave the press box and come down to the field. So we were on the field watching the Giants run out the game. And then all of a sudden, I mean, this miracle happens. And the way it happened, I just happened to be standing behind the end zone, and Herm Edwards literally ran right towards me. And the 2 things I remember about it were, number one, the look on Herm Edwards' face. I mean, his eyes were like that big. He couldn't believe it had happened. And the other thing was just how quiet the Meadowlands got. I mean, it was as if you had hit a mute button. It got so quiet in that building that, and I'm not kidding when I say this, it got so quiet, I could hear Herm Edwards' feet as he ran towards me. It was that quiet in the building. And so, and that was, it was just a crazy 2 million to 1 shot play anyway. But the other part was it really was kind of a turning point for the whole Vermeil program in Philadelphia. I mean, they were trying to build something, trying to turn the team around. They hadn't won in more than a decade. And that was kind of the moment when I think everybody, the coaches, the players, and even the media covering the team, we kind of felt the narrative shift. This is a team that had been inventing ways to lose for the better part of a decade. And on this particular day, they had invented a way to win. And it was just sort of the signal that, maybe they had turned the corner and become a winning football team. And sure enough, they did.
Go back 53 years now. Let's go back 53 years. You're starting your career. Was there ever anything else you were considering doing other than becoming a sports writer? Were you ever thinking about taking over your grandfather's bar? Were you like, what else was on the docket for Ray Didinger if not writing?
If I hadn't become a writer, I probably would have been a teacher. I mean, I thought a little bit about law when I was in college. I thought a little bit about law, but it just seemed too dry for me. I just didn't think anything about it. I didn't find it all that engaging. To me, it seemed like a lot of paper shuffling. So I said, no, the writing thing is definitely what I want to do. It's the one thing I kind of felt like I could do. It was the one thing in my life that I really felt confident in. But, the jobs aren't that common. It's not that easy to get your foot in the door. And so what I was thinking is, okay, this is what I want to do. But if it doesn't work out for me, what'll I do? And I really think, I honestly think I could have been happy teaching and maybe being a coach. Going to a school somewhere, teaching English, and maybe coaching a sport or two. I think I would have enjoyed that. I think I would have enjoyed the kids. I think I would have enjoyed the teaching experience. My best friend, the guy that I grew up with, he became a teacher. And he was a teacher for 35 years. And he and I were very similar. And he found teaching was his niche, and he loved it, and he was good at it. And I think I could have enjoyed it too. But when you get past it, that I really think I was meant to be a writer, and I'm just thankful that I got the opportunity.
As we all are, actually, right? We all are, that you got that opportunity and done so well with it. How are you handling all the accolades? How are you handling all the love? You're a very modest man. I know I can speak to that as a witness to that for many years. How are you handling all the adulation?
Not well. Not well. It's been, I tell you, it has been great. It has been great. I mean, the people have been tremendous. Since I announced earlier this month that I was retiring at the end of the month, Marc, I didn't think it was going to be a big deal. I really didn't.
See, that is so you. Of course, it's a big deal.
No, I mean, I really didn't. I mean, my wife said it would, and she was saying, there's going to be a lot going on about this now. And I said, no, there's not. I'll probably get a couple phone calls, maybe a card or two. But it's not going to be a big deal. Not going to be a big story. But it's kind of turned out to be, and it surprises me. But everything that everybody has said, all the cards and the letters that have come in, have been so wonderful, and so gratifying that it's really made me feel good. And and it's just kind of reinforced my own feeling about what it meant to have this job, to have this platform in my hometown. I mean, not only did I get to do this job for 53 years, which is in and of itself a blessing, but to be able to do it 53 years in Philadelphia, where I was born, raised, family, friends, everybody here. If I had done this somewhere else in another city, it would have been great. I mean, it would have still been a terrific job, and I would have felt blessed to have it. But to be able to do it right here in my hometown has made it particularly wonderful. And the people that have written and reached out to me, and so many letters that have started with, we've never met, but I feel like I know you, or I've never had the opportunity to meet you, but every weekend you're on the radio in my kitchen, or you're in the car with me when I'm driving my kids to Little League. And the one thing that it's really made clear to me is, and you being in the business, you understand this, is how you become a part of other people's lives without even realizing it. I mean, people have sent me the most wonderful stories about how, they would, my father was a big Phillies fan, and he's a big sports fan. And, and he and I used to sit on Saturday mornings and would have our coffee and listen to you and Glenn. And you realize that you become a part of these people's lives. And even though you've never met them and you never see them, they're out there, and you're touching them in ways that are important and meaningful and lasting. And those are the cards and letters that have been really, really great to me. The personal stories of people saying, I'm really going to miss you. I just want to thank you for all the years of entertainment, and God bless you in retirement. And really, really heartfelt stuff like that. It has been really wonderful. But to your point, it's been way more than I expected. I didn't think it'd be anything like this.
What happens to all the legal pads? What do you do with those? You still keep them, or you sell them at auction? What are you going to do with ththose?
Well, I wouldn't go running out and buying any Staples stock right now. But I've been asked that question a lot about the yellow legal tablets.
Yeah.
And, and they're never far away. I know this for a fact. I know this. There you go.
Yeah.
There you go.
Just like Ray.
There you go. I know this for a fact that, I'll be watching the Eagles this year, for sure. But I will still have the yellow legal tablet next to me, and I'm still going to chart every play. I'm going to write down, 1st and 10, Eagles 38, Sanders +6, whatever. I'm going to chart every game, because at this point, after all this time, it's the only way I know how to watch football. I mean, at this point, after all this time, I can't watch a game without logging it. It's the same thing now. I mean, when I go to Phillies games, I'm one of the few people that still keeps score. I'm one of the few people in the stands that to watch the game, I have to keep score. I mean, I've been doing it since I was a little kid. And to me, it feels like I'm not really watching the game if I'm not keeping score. And I know it'll be the same thing watching the Eagles this year. I'm still going to have the yellow legal tablet out, and I'm still going to be charting every play.
Where do you leave us, Ray, with the Eagles? How is the state of the team right now after all these offseason acquisitions, all the trades, Howie Roseman, the draft, the whole thing? What state do you leave us in when it comes to the Eagles and how good a team this is?
I think they're pretty good. In fact, that's why, and to your point, I mean, props to Howie Roseman. I mean, there was a lot of talk about him this offseason because of the 3 first-round draft picks, and the idea that this was kind of okay, it's all on Howie now, and and I really thought he had a terrific offseason. I really did. I thought the draft was really good. They got some good players. I like Davis a lot. Nakobe Dean, getting him in the 3rd round was an absolute steal. I think he's going to be a terrific player. And I think he's going to be a player that the fans in this city are going to love. I mean, he is smart. He is tough. And he's the one thing that this team hasn't had probably since Jeremiah Trotter, which is a playmaking linebacker. And he was that in college, and I think he'll be that in the NFL. And the trade for A.J. Brown, I mean, gives them another really good receiver. I mean, they're pretty good. I really do think they're pretty good. I think their schedule is very favorable. We know the NFC East is still kind of the NFC East. It's there to be won. Again, Nick Sirianni coming into his 2nd year, smarter, wiser, more established as a coach, more confident in himself. But the ultimate X factor is the quarterback. You gotta I think now you've kind of put the pieces in place where you can, with a year of a starting thing under his belt now, I think now we'll get a better sense of what Jalen Hurts really can be, and see how much more he can improve. Because clearly he has to improve. There's no question. If this is as good as he's going to be, then yeah, you probably need to look further. But I think with the people around him and the coaching staff being a year on the job, and him having the benefit of that experience, and now knowing for sure that he's the guy, I expect him to play better this year. And if he does, then I think this team is very likely to win the division. and then get to the postseason. I think it's going to be a good year, Mark. I expect them to be a double-digit win team and win the East and then get to the playoffs and then go from there. No, I think it's going to be a fun year.
I certainly hope so. Two quick ones for you, Ray. You are known so well for not only being a great football mind, but one of the nicest humans you could ever come across in the history of the planet. I've never asked you this. What is Ray Didinger's pet peeve? What is something? Is it like somebody not putting a trash can liner back in the trash can? Somebody like what is Ray Didinger's pet peeve? What really gets your goat?
People that are aggressive drivers.
Oh, all right, okay.
Aggressive driving. I'm in an age now where I don't want to drive my car like it's Le Mans. I don't want to. If the speed limit's 70, I don't want to drive 75. Okay, I don't want to do that. And to be driving along at 65 and have somebody right on my bumper, I don't like that. So probably aggressive driving is probably and just general rudeness. People are just generally rude. I mean, that still bothers me.
God bless you, man. I love how long it just took you to come up with one. Ray, I told you before, I was just smiling when you made the announcement because I know how much you love your family. I know how much it stinks to have the NFL schedule dictate how often you get to see your family and when you get to see them.
Right.
There's nobody that deserves a more enjoyable, more family-filled retirement than you. And I couldn't be happier for you. I'm saddened to know that I'm not going to be hearing your takes on the Eagles much. I don't know. Maybe you'll sign up for Twitter one day and just start piping out the hot takes. I don't know. But you know how much I love you. You know how much I respect you. Thank you. First off, just to you for your dedication to the craft. And thank you to your family for sharing you with us for all these years, because no one has done it better than you in so many different ways, my friend.
Thank you, Mark. I appreciate that. Family's a big part of this decision. There's no question. My granddaughter is going into her senior year of college. She's going to be the captain of her college field hockey team. And so I really want to see every game this year. I really do. It's very funny. Just this morning, I got in the mail, a guy sent me a book, Field Hockey for Dummies. Learn all the rules and all the intricacies and all the nuance of field hockey. And trust me, I'm going to read it from cover to cover because that game still baffles me. It really does. But I fully intend to go out to the games this year, see everyone, and be fully armed with field hockey knowledge.
Legal pad at the game or no legal pad at the game?
No, I think I'll leave the legal pad in the trunk.
There you go. Ray, congrats to you. Congrats to your family. Just an enjoyable retirement for you. I know we'll be in touch, but thank you for everything. And some of my audience knows this, some don't. One of the greatest joys of my career was getting to be the producer of the Ray Didinger, Glenn Macnow show on weekends when I was at WIP from Slack's Hoagie Shack. Mm-hmm. And I would sit back there and just absorb the knowledge that you would be doling out as much as possible. And I can't thank you for your kindness, your friendship, and obviously, again, your dedication to your craft. Ray Didinger, a happy retirement. Nobody's earned it more than you, my friend. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Mark. Thank you for your friendship and all the great work over the years. Good luck. Keep up the great work, man. Absolutely.
Oh, and congratulations on the Ray Didinger internship program I heard about from WIP. That's beautiful. Congrats.
That was a surprise. They surprised me with that when I was in with Angelo yesterday. But I think it's a great thing. If I can, if some way help some young person just try and get that first foot in the door kind of thing in the business, if that's what they want to do, I'm real happy about that.
The great Ray Didinger joining us on the Rothman Orthopaedics guest line. Thank you so much, Ray.
Take care, Mark. See you later.
Absolutely. Thanks, everyone, joining us on this special edition of the Farzy Show featuring the great Ray Didinger.